Hey, what's up, FireXSV2 here, and in this video, I'm going to be doing my predictions for this week's wild card weekend in the NFL playoffs of 2011. I'm a Giants fan, so don't look for me to be biased. Don't worry, I hate the Eagles, but I'm not going to be biased against them. I'm not going to be biased against the Jets. This is what I really think as a football fan. And yeah, if you're going to rank on the comments about the Giants, yeah, I know, second year in a row. Duh. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it sucks to be a Giants fan now, but hopefully next year they can get into the playoffs. 10-6. I mean, the Eagles were 10-6, but they blew that game. I know they should have won it. Should have beat the Packers. Anyways, let's do this. All right, but first of all, the reason why I'm not doing my predictions for the whole playoffs is I'm just gonna do a new video every week of the playoffs, giving you my analysis of what I think is going to happen, and if I do a whole video on the playoffs and like the team I picked to go to the Super Bowl gets knocked out first round, then that's retarded. So here we go. First game is New Orleans Saints versus Seattle Seahawks. Now, how the hell the Seattle Seahawks are going to have any chance against the New Orleans Saints? The Seahawks practically got in because they were in a shithouse division. All right, they're 7-9. They're not looking like a great team. Hasselbeck, he's a good quarterback. He's a decent quarterback, but if his injuries do persist, then Whitehurst is going to have to come in, and Whitehurst is really not the best quarterback. The best thing about the Seahawks is their special teams, okay? Liam Washington, he's a great returner, and that's, their special teams have won a lot of their games. So that's a big thing to look out of, but I just don't see the Seattle Seahawks having anything against the high-powered New Orleans Saints. The Saints, another advantage that the Seahawks do have is home field advantage. They had a great record at home in the beginning of the season. I don't know how that turned out, but I know their stadium's atrociously loud, and the fans will be 7-9. Yeah, we're in the playoffs, so they'll be going crazy. But the Saints, they're strong. Drew Brees, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's got his weapons, Marcus Colston, and Reggie Bush is back, even though he hasn't done too much. But he's a big playoff guy. The Saints defense hasn't been amazing, but I think they can definitely stand out against the Seattle Seahawks, and they'll definitely go into pressure either Whitehurst or Hasselbeck, whoever it is. So I predict the New Orleans Saints to come in and whomp on the Seattle Seahawks. I don't see the Seattle Seahawks having any chance of winning this game. If they do, it'll be very close, and I guarantee it will be off special teams. All right, I'll tell you that right now. It's not going to be, because Whitehurst throws an amazing pass to Mike Williams, okay? That's just not going to happen. I just think the Saints are going to come in and trounce on these Seattle Seahawks. All right, the second game, New York Jets at Indianapolis Colts. All right, the Indianapolis Colts were looking really bad at the beginning of the season and the middle of the season. Peyton's receivers were dropping like flies. Injuries were coming all over the place, and it just wasn't looking good for the Colts. But they clinched their division, and they will be in a rematch with the New York Jets from last year. Rex Ryan claims that this game is personal because last year they really wanted to beat the Colts, but they didn't, and he claims it's personal. All right, here's Peyton Manning. He's got Pierre Garçon and Reggie Wayne, but he doesn't have Dallas Clark, and that is one big thing why the Colts haven't been what they should be. Jacob Tamme is he's all right, but he ain't no Dallas Clark. All right, he's a different blocker. He's a different receiver. He's just a different tight end in general. Also, Austin Collie is a big thing. Austin Collie was one of the big things, when Garcon and Reggie Wayne, when they were, after Peyton was throwing to them and they weren't getting stuff done, Austin Collie was Peyton Manning's guy. And without Austin Collie, that's one less big receiver that he can throw to. So it's going to be a little tough time, but I think Peyton can have a decent game. However, I do think the New York Jets will come out with a victory here. The Jets, Rex Ryan, he's very cocky and overconfident, and he's annoying, and he's a foot sniffer and all that stuff. but I do think the Jets are a good team. All right, their defense is very good. Cromartie and Revis, I'm telling you, they'll be on Reggie Wayne and Garcon the whole game. They just got a great defense. And, the receivers are actually really great this season. Santonio Holmes and Braylon Edwards have surely impressed me. The one thing that the Jets should be afraid of is Mark Sanchez, okay? He's been really bad these past weeks, the final weeks of the NFL season, and you gotta watch out for him. But I do think the Jets will win in a defensive way. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, to tell you the truth. I think Payton's going to have a lot of yards, but not as much touchdowns. I can see it into, a 14 to 20 game. I do think the Jets will win because of their defense. If the Jets lose, it will be because of Mark Sanchez. I wouldn't be surprised either way who wins because this is a very good matchup, and I think it's evenly matched up. But I mean, anything can go in this game. It should be one of the most interesting games to see this weekend. But I do think the New York Jets will advance on. All right, the next game is the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs were a big surprise this season, and the Ravens, the Ravens expected to be better. I do think this will be, I don't even know what to expect out of this one completely, but I can give you my prediction. The Chiefs got Jamal Charles, who is an absolute beast. And they got Dwayne Bowe. Castle has been doing decent too. And, they've just been a very good team for what they were expected to do. And the Ravens, Ray Rice, Joe Flacco, Anquan Bolden, they got all those guys. And Ray Lewis, of course. How can you forget about Ray Lewis? But here's the thing. I think the Chiefs are going to come out with the win. And that is a big surprise. But the reason why is if you look at the Baltimore Ravens, they either play a really good football game or they play a really sloppy football game. Take their game against the Steelers. That was a horrible game. They should have had that one won, but it was just so sloppy. And I think we can see the sloppiness return as they go into Kansas City to play the Chiefs. And that's what I think. I think the Chiefs will come out with the win over the Ravens. If the Ravens do play a good game, no matter how good the Chiefs play, I think the Ravens will come out. But I'm really not having any confidence in this Ravens team into the playoffs. They want something big. They really haven't gotten too far in the playoffs. Last year they beat the Patriots, but they haven't gone too far in the playoffs in a long time. So they're going to try to make something, and I just think the mental errors will get to them. All right, in the final game, Green Bay Packers versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Green Bay Packers did play the Philadelphia Eagles once this season, and they came out victorious. But take this into warning. The Philadelphia Eagles had in Kevin Kolb. Now, if Michael Vick was in the game, which he did come in later due to a Kolb injury, Michael Vick was tearing up the Packers. But they still lost. And Michael Vick is looked upon as the best quarterback in the NFL right now. And I can surely, it's arguable, but I don't know if I can say agree with that. Personally, I do think Tom Brady is the best, but Aaron Rodgers is also a big contender. This is going to be a fun game just because it's going to be an air-out, high-scoring, passing touchdown game. You're going to see Michael Vick throwing into Deshaun Jackson, Avant, all those guys all game, and you're going to see Aaron Rodgers throwing to Donald Driver, Greg Jennings, Donald Lee, all those guys. I'm telling you, this is going to be a fun game. However, the Packers do lack a rushing game with their injury to Ryan Grant, and that's what the Eagles have a more advantage over. They got LaShawn McCoy, the incredible player that just came out of nowhere, and he's been having a great season along with Michael Vick. So I do think the Eagles will come out because, it's going to be a high-scoring game in the air, but I think LaShawn McCoy is going to be a big factor. So that was my conference prediction, my wildcard weekend predictions. Tune in next week, and I'll do my predictions on them. All right, and this is Happens on Fire XCSV2. Subscribe if you liked it.